Okay, welcome to today's Wednesday live session. Today I am thinking about burnout and menopause and how the two go together, and actually, really, menopause, burnout, and lack of confidence, or how it affects your confidence. Because this is where it's at. Like, I've been doing a lot of thinking about that recently. I am coming up against all of it. I'm going to be really, really, really honest. I'm coming up against all of it at the moment. And I believe that the best way to work through these things is to talk about it. And I know if I'm going through it, then I know other people are going through it. And I know other people are going through it as well. Right. So I'm just here just to open the conversation. So if you are watching live, please do chat along with me. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. And if you're watching on replay, then let me know that you're watching on replay as well. And please do leave your, chat along and leave your comments, and let me know your thoughts. So why am I thinking about menopause so much this week, and why am I thinking about burnout? Well, I'm always thinking about burnout, and I'm always thinking about confidence. They are like the two things that I feel like really passionately about. There's lots of things I feel really, really passionately about: relationships, self-worth, confidence, communication, marriage, parenting. It all goes together. Like, sometimes I find it really difficult to not kind of like overwhelm with my content, because I've got so much stuff inside of me that I just want to share. Because it's also relevant, and because at the end of the day, it all comes back down to us as women, right? Whether you are married or not, whether you are a parent or not, whether you are employed or self-employed, like, it doesn't really make any difference. The central person is you. The central person for me is me, right? I am the hub of my family. I am a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a business owner. I'm a friend. I'm a confidant. Like, I'm all of these things. And I have burnt out recently. Not to the point where I've been, well, I say not to the point where I've been broken. I was broken for about 3 days. Like, I was broken for, I was bedbound for 3 days, which has never, ever, ever, ever happened. And I know that I have been, working hard. The kids have gone back to school. All of the bugs are flying around. Stuff going on at home. Like, it all takes its toll in the end. And I share that because it's important for me to acknowledge and for me to share that no one is, what's the word I'm looking for? No one is bigger than burnout, right? Burnout can affect absolutely everybody. We are all susceptible to burnout, regardless of our age, our gender, what we do, how we do it, right? Now, I talk to women. My client base are mostly women, overwhelmingly women, regardless of kind of like family situation. And I'm a woman, and my friends are women, so I talk to women. I don't make any of my videos or any of my written content that isn't to exclude men, but it's just that I talk as a woman to women. Okay, so men are, of course, susceptible to burnout as well, but I think women are more susceptible to burnout. And this is not, I've got no statistics. I mean, I've got some statistics. I've got no academic statistics on this, because I don't feel the need for that at this point. I think women are more susceptible to burnout because I think we carry a much heavier load. And I'm quite happy to say that. Yes, of course, there are men that pull their weight and do their fair share. But I think In terms of women in the family, the majority of women carry the majority of the load. Okay, I'm not saying 100%. I'm not making any huge like everything all the time, never. I'm not making those statements. I'm just saying the majority of women do the majority of the domestic stuff most of the time. We are nurtured from a much younger age to be the ones that do the caring. We carry the children and we do the first part, the first kind of like year, if you like, of primary caring. We take responsibility for taking the kids to their after school clubs and running around and doing their stuff. We're likely going to be the ones that are going to be caring for other family members. Now, that's just at home. What about at work? At work, women have to prove themselves a lot harder than they do men. Women have to either have to or feel they have to work a lot harder, be much better, have much more skills on their skills list in order to be able to put themselves forward for either promotion or for a new job or a new role. And so when all of this kind of adds up, we are at a much higher risk of burnout. Now let's chuck in the menopause. Let's chuck in the menopause, because the menopause happens to most of us. So I know it doesn't happen to all of us, but it happens to most of us. It happened to me, started quite young, I think, for me, although I've been doing some research on it, not like outrageously young, but I definitely started getting signs of menopause around about 40. Loads of changes going on in my body. I'm now 44 now, been on HRT for a year. It's made a huge difference. But I still feel like women are still battling. I still feel like there's loads that that isn't being spoken about, that we don't feel able to either talk about that openly. Thank the Lord for Davina McCall for really highlighting it as a big topic and bringing it much more into the public domain. But there's some really, really simple things that we can talk about just to kind of like acknowledge the situation and just like I believe that when we acknowledge a situation, that is the biggest part. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. It doesn't matter what the difficulty or the issue is. Actually talking about it is the number one, the biggest thing that you can do to make a difference. So when we are able to recognise menopause, when we are able to recognise burnout, that in itself is a huge step forward, okay? Because when we are looking at the impact of menopause, and I went through and I started making a list of all of the symptoms of menopause. I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing, the amount of symptoms. And I think the problem with those symptoms is that actually a lot of those symptoms look like burnout. So the crossover between the two is enormous. When we talk about, even if we're just talking about lack of sleep, right? Well, I can talk about lack of sleep throughout my entire life. I've been plagued by sleep difficulties. We can talk about that in terms of stress. We can talk about that in terms of having a newborn baby. We can talk about that in terms of pain. We can talk about that in terms of hot flushes. Then when we look at the impact of sleep on anxiety, concentration, not workload, what am I looking for? Oh God, lack of concentration, talk about that. Ability to get things done, multitasking, focusing, productivity, how all of that, anxiety, depression, work productivity, sleeplessness. I mean, there's four things right there that are going to have a huge knock-on effect to you, regardless whether you're going through the menopause or not. That's going to have a huge impact on you when we're looking at burnout. when we're thinking about your self-confidence, like how does all of this impact your self-confidence, like let alone thinking about weight gain, changes in your body, ability to exercise, nutrition, food and drink. There's honestly, there is so much. I think I'm going to put together an ebook actually, outlining all of this and putting it into a document, because I think it will be really helpful to be able to talk about this. And maybe I'll end up doing I might do a masterclass on this. If you would be interested in me doing a masterclass on this, just do either comment below or just drop me a direct message, because I think there's a lot to be said here about how it all, because it all comes together. And like I said, I'm a woman in my mid-40s. I've got 2 children. I'm married. I run my own business, right? There is nothing unique about me at all. We are all going through this. And if you're not going through it and if you've avoided it, then, I mean, absolutely hats off to you. That's absolutely fantastic. So let's have a think about a few things that you can do. Just a few really, really simple things. I'm not going to make this a massive long list, because I think actually with just like 3 or 4 changes, you can actually make a huge difference. So I've already said the first one. The first one is to acknowledge it. So work out what's going on for you. You know, are you menopausal? Are you burnt out? Are the two just going hand in hand together? Maybe you don't even know. Maybe it's both. Like maybe it's not a question of one or the other. Maybe it's both. I mean, my ability to my energy levels, even though I actually do sleep fairly well, to be honest with you, my energy levels in the morning are very, very low. I can't deny that. Like my energy levels are low, and I find it a lot harder to exercise. I find it a lot harder to do the things that I used to do really, really easily. So that's a real thing. So, the fact that I acknowledge that means that I can start to put things into place for it. So, acknowledge where you're at. Be honest with yourself about where you are at and what you think is going on for you. I'm going to stick to the things where I think there's a crossover, unless I just kind of like go off topic, which is easy to do. Talk to your friends about it. My gosh, I mean, like, where would we be without our friends, right? Whether your best friend is your partner or your best friend, right? It doesn't matter. Talk to your friends about it, and actually talk to your girlfriends about it. Your partner might be female, and so just talk with other women about what is going on for you and how you're finding it, and actually just compare notes, because I think it's about actually just destigmatizing it. Like, if you're going through the menopause and you're finding it difficult, or if you're going through burnout and you're exhausted, just talk about it. Just elicit some support from your friends, from your colleagues, from the people around you, and just normalize it a little bit, because it is all completely normal. And then have a look at your diet, right? And I say that like looking at your diet is really, really important. And there's 2 things going on there. First of all, food wise, you may need to be starting to look differently at your food choices, because your digestive system completely changes. Due to lack of estrogen levels, and you may be bloating quite a lot. You may be putting on weight, but you're also probably actually just bloating, because foods aren't getting processed the same way. So it might be that you need to cut out certain food groups. Like the obvious one is gluten, right? And not having those really heavy like bready, pastry meals, maybe late at night or like in the evening. Alcohol was a massive game changer for me, and I fought it for a really long time. I'm going to be completely honest, because I really love wine, but in the end I just had to absolutely, I haven't knocked it on the head completely, but completely minimized it, because it affected my sleep, and I realized that actually sleep is the most important thing in the world to me, other than my children. And without sleep, I don't function. And so to be being consciously putting stuff into my body that I knew was going to have a detrimental effect, not just on my sleep, but on my mood the next day. And the knock-on effect of that was like instrumental in prioritizing good sleep hygiene. And then the last one is, I'll do two more. Exercise, because exercise is vital for your mind and your body. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. You don't have to join a Zumba class. You don't have to go out and start running 10K. You can go out for a walk and audiobooks, my absolute favourite thing to do as part of exercise and self-care. Dance if you want to dance, like run if you want to run, do yoga, do Pilates, like do whatever it is, but make sure you are doing something on a regular basis, because that's really important as well. And what was the other thing that I wanted to say? What have we done? So I'm looking at my notes now. Exercise, diet, eating. Oh, time management, just prioritizing things that are important, and really either delegating the things that aren't important or actually learning to say no. I talk loads about boundaries in the work that I do, and learning to say no, which it ties into self-confidence. And actually being able to protect your own time. Actually having boundaries, learning to say no, is about self-confidence, and it's also about self-care. So work out what you really need to do. Maybe talk about chunking time. If you want to get any advice about that or about anything else, DM me, and we can have a chat about ways that I can help you. Because it's all about, a lot of it is about time. It's about time management, and it's about energy management. And that really is the crux of burnout: time management and energy management. So there you go. I feel like I flew through that really quickly. So much stuff to talk about. If you would be interested in knowing any more about any of this, and would like to know about how we can work together, drop me a direct message. Let's start having a chat, or book a call with me. I'll put my call booking link in the blurb around here, and let's have a chat and see how we can help you. You don't have to do this by yourself. Yeah, I mean, it's what I'm all about, helping you to live the life that you deserve. Okay, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care. Have a lovely rest of week. Bye bye.